Alright, welcome back to the channel, buddy, and I hope you're doing fine. Another event! I think we had like one day of vanilla hunt, and that's it. And we jumped straight into the next one. Okay, so as you can see, we have a lot of topics to discuss, and I will just go through this. Rewards, new stuff, discussion, and then personal opinion at the end. Timestamps in the description as always. Let's go! Okay, so we're gonna start with the rewards, and as you can see, you can get the strongman right at the beginning, right from the get-go. I unlocked the whole battle pass, so we can see everything. The next one is gonna be a badge unlock with the circus tent. I'm gonna talk about this at, well, right at the end of the video, because we have now avatars and that stuff, where you can customize your profile a little bit. We're not gonna talk about this right now. First, we're gonna have a look at the skins, and we have here the Frontier 73C, the Elephant's Promise. And I actually love this. Now, I will probably not use it too much, but that they add more and more of these sculpts, like the 3D sculpts on the weapons, is pretty nice. You even have some, yeah, there are some physics on these little things here, so that's pretty nice. We have a throwing axe, the Horseman's Hand, so that's nice. A new throwing axe skins. It's been a while since we got one. Then, honestly, I don't care. Charm unlocks is, if you enjoy this, then hopefully this will bring you joy. And then we have another railroad hammer. The Lion's Verdict. It looks awesome. I don't know what's going on with Crytek right now and railroad hammers, but yeah, they're killing it. Then we have a Pax, the Burnt Blood. The crazy part is that with the aiming, this is a little bit higher here at the sides. It's a little bit more difficult to shoot, in my opinion. You need to get used to that. We have some BBs at level 7. Level 8, we have then, ooh, the Celestial Scream for a drilling. Gorgeous. Like, I really love this. I mean, I can see that these skins are circus inspired. And I'm okay with that because they are not clown inspired. So I'm pretty happy that they are again doing the circus stuff, but not going into the clown direction. So this is really nice. Then we have an equip animation for the throwing axe. Looks pretty nice. What else do we have here with level 10? We have a charm unlock. Sure. Then we have a Springfield the Archangel. In case this is familiar. Wait, yeah, it is familiar. I think we have already a marksman variant for that. Or the skin is on a Springfield marksman right now. But hey, still, good one. We have the Ringmaster's Entrance, an equipment animation unlock for the Frontier 73C, as you can see right here. I'm sadly covering this. Sure, it's a little bit too much for me, because you don't see the gun anymore. But alright. Next one is gonna be a frag bomb. Dude, with the serpent. Nice. And then, yeah, we have an avatar unlock. Again, we're gonna talk about that in a bit. Then we have some dusters. Dude, these are pretty cool. Bronze horns. I'm not using the dusters, so the bronze horn will be kind of but I'm gonna add it to my collection for sure. Next one, we're gonna have more BBs, and then we have out the Ember. Nice. With here the goat on the side. I mean, Spectre is the goat, so easy peasy. I love also like how the trigger looks and everything. Then we have the Burnt Blood Claw. Pretty cool. Next one is gonna be, ooh, a new Carbine Silencer skin. Yes. Looks gorgeous, especially when the witch-themed one is not really your thing. This one can be great. Let's see what we have at level 20. Hots to the touch. You see, this is something that I like more because I can actually see the gun. And I still have a unique equipment animation. That one is for the Spectre. Next, we're gonna have, oh yeah, for the short drilling, again, the Celestial Scream. This time for the shorty. Then we have a frame unlock. We have a Spectre bayonet without the Ember. So we have now this burnt style and the circus style. Well, these will be the main themes in this battle pass. We have the weapon charm here. My god, yeah, dude. The Devil's Soft. Dude, this medkit looks gorgeous. More BBs. And then we have a Scottfield. Been a while since we had a Scottfield. Looks good, though. Next one is gonna be, yeah, the Frontier 73C Marksman. I still like the Opera glasses more, but hey, that's a good one. We have the Sharpshooter. Bang. Yeah. Okay. We have another frame unlock, and then we have the flare pistol, Hell's Hiss, for the flare gun. Dude, with the rattlesnake down here and everything, that is pretty cool. Oh, no way. I just realized right now. I thought the skins this time have no PM on them. This one actually has. Okay, but it's so far the only one, I think. Maybe they're a little bit more hidden this time and not like printed all over the guns. Then we have another frag grenade. Well, very similar to the throwing axe. More BBs. Then we have, well, the Archangel this time for the bayonet. Then we have, oh, bet you anything. Sweet. Then we have a Pax True Shot. Again with the burnt blood skin. Nice. And then, yeah, Sideshow Attraction. That's a title unlock that you can have. We have a Spectre Compact. Nice. Infernus. Sweet. Then we have a Lebel. Wow. Holy crap. I mean, I'm not chilling here. Okay, I generally think this is cool when they have like more 3D stuff put on the gun. And it's not just like, oh yeah, paint job and that's it. With the knife there. My god, I'm gonna play that. And it's been a while since I played Base Lebel. A Drilling Hatchet. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, man. Then we have the Avatar unlock for the Trick Shooter. Then we have, well, Rattle and Roll. So another weapon charm. We have the Frontier 73C Silencer. Do I like this more than my crap gun? Maybe. Then we have more BBs. Then we have a badge unlock. Then we have, again, we have bear traps. Like, say what you want. I know there will be a few people complaining about these things here. But this is nice. This is really nice. How they implemented this Cobra skin into a bear trap that is almost art, man. It's sick. And then we have this. It's insane that we don't have an animation like this already earlier. So Scott Field works for the Brawler, Swift, and Spitfire. So for all variants, I think. So that's great. Nice. And then we have another Slate skin. I'm just looking for the PM thing now. But I only saw it on the flare gun so far. And then, here we go. We have the Disciple of Death. Which is a pretty cool skin. Yeah, that is nice, man. I like this. Fits Hunt, honestly. And then we have a couple more. We have BBs. We have a Charm unlock. We have another weapon animation. The Honor Guard's Walk for Lebel variants. Yeah, I think this is cool, but for inspecting the gun and actually having a look at the skin, that is more for showing off, I guess. And then the final one is going to be the Ringmaster. That's a title unlock. So, there you go. Again, this whole avatar thing, we're going to discuss in a bit. I'm very pleased with these skins. I think the themes are great. Hunters, mostly great. We have a lot of rewards. Sure, it's a little bit inflated with the profile pictures and stuff like that. But thumbs up for not having, like, I don't know, 6 to 7 Post Malone things on a gun. I have nothing against Post Malone. Alright, I think he's one of the few people who can actually do this because they're also playing the game, so that's great. But it was a tiny bit much, my friend. So, that's it with the rewards, and now let's start with our first topic when it comes to new stuff, like, you know, discussing the event. So let's start with our first topic, the Ursa Mortis, and that thing is back and got an upgrade. So first of all, and this will probably catch a few people by surprise, is that the Ursa Mortis can now break through the fence of the circus while chasing players. This is pretty cool because additionally this breaks up the circus PvP area, giving the whole thing a little bit more variety. On top of that, the Ursa cannot be knocked down by explosives, but honestly he dies to explosives still rather quickly, so this is most of the time whatever. And when it comes to his raw attacks, they trigger now traps in the proximity. So it will be a little bit more difficult to play your traps in the circus area. So alert trip mines, Stark Dynamite satchels, poison concertina trip mine combos, all that stuff might get triggered by the draw. Okay, next I would say we have a look through the new circus area. Well, new. There are few things that you know already, like a restoration kit. You can see toolboxes everywhere. Check the envelopes for some goodies. There's also a sealed catch register. And yes, as you can see, there are again the tarot cards. We also have the fortune teller. This is the master clue to find the boss quickly. More envelopes. Here you can get all your ammo back and all your tools, special stuff. And then we have something new here, the High Striker. And this is where players can test their strength. Depending on how much damage you dealt in melee, you get a variable amount of event points. Just keep in mind that the score is shared over all the high strikers that you find in a mission, because you can also find them across the map, for example at supply points. And then in the center we have all the event traits. Now keep in mind you're not limited now to a single one, you can have all of them if you want to, and if you have the pledge marks and the slots. And then at the wall we have the Rebalanced Shredder for 2 pledge marks, and I would say we jump to the Shredder next. So the Shredder is back, and I think we can all remember how crazy that was at the beginning and then how it kinda got nerfed into the ground. So let's see how it feels right now. So as you saw, the Shredder returns as a reworked scarce weapon. You can only find it at the circus. The one thing that was kinda broken when they introduced the Shredder were the homing saw blades. So that's not a thing anymore. Instead, the bounce is solely decided based on physics. So it's still possible to hit around corners, but at least now you need some skill, or just a stupid amount of luck. Now what changed to the Shredder previously is that you now have to charge it, so by hitting X on PC you can charge the Shredder. And they also reduced the rate of fire significantly. So there are a few pros and cons for that. It's not automatically charged when you equip it, which means you can hold the weapon without revealing your position because the thing makes a lot of noise, although it seems like they nerfed the sound of the Shredder, so it's a bit more quiet now. But the loaded blade will no longer spin forever. Instead, it will now spin down after some time, meaning it will need to be recharged to keep it usable. There's also a visual and audible indicator that the Shredder will need to be recharged again. So you can see, for example, these tiny sparks here. And obviously, the moment you decide to reload the weapon, you need to charge it again. What I love right now is that the moment you have the Shredder charged, it stays charged, even when you put it on your back. So this means that it can be ready to fire quicker from unequipped than the previous version if the user keeps it charged. Another change is that the blades will no longer pierce hunters and AI. They will now stick into bodies like bolts and arrows. Keep in mind that you can find them with Darksight. And since Blademancer is back as one of the event traits, you can just very easily get the blades back. So we talk now about event traits, and I would say that's the next thing we're gonna check out. So most of the event traits we're gonna talk about are returning ones, but there are one or two that we didn't see yet. The stronger a trait is, the more pledge marks it will cost. The big difference to previous events is that you can now have as many of these event traits as you desire. Because back in the past, you were pledging to a specific path and that's it. For the sake of completion, but I'm gonna keep this short today, I'm gonna talk about pledge marks and the event points. So pledge mark sources, you get 1 pledge mark for all 25 event points that you collect, 2 pledge marks for banishing the boss target in Bounty Clash, 3 pledge marks for becoming the sole survivor, and 1 to 3 pledge marks for collecting a pledge mark envelope. During this event, you can carry up to 6 pledge marks at once, and when looting a hunter, you also steal the pledge marks. If your pledge marks are looted, you lose them. And then let's quickly talk about the event points. Here's the activity list. You can take a quick snip from that. Hitting a high striker gives you 40 event points per mission. And then we have all the other stuff that you're already super familiar with. Extract the bounty tokens, kill the targets or activate the wellspring, loot any hunter for the first time. One thing that you might not be super familiar with is that the circus grunts give you 1 event point and the balloons give you 1 event point, in case you're new to the whole murder circus thing. Alright, let's continue the video. The first one we're going to discuss is Blademancer for 2 pledge marks. While using Darksight, retrieval ammo in front of you returns automatically to your inventory and you have a 100-meter range, which is pretty sick when you play crossbow, bow, the Shredder, and for example the Chukunu. But of course it also works for your tools, for example the spear, throwing knives or throwing axes. Now just keep in mind that Blademancer got changed though, so you're not dealing any pull-out damage anymore when you get your stuff back with Blademancer, which honestly is a very good change. And then we have the Mystic Troop, the Communion, for 1 pledge mark. While using Darksight, temporarily lower your max HP by 15 to heal your teammates 75 HP and remove their negative status effects, with a range of 25 meters. So this, at first glance, feels pretty bonkers because the channel time is rather fast. And 75 HP is quite a bit. I think it's a cool gimmick that we can play around with, because very often, you know, you run out of heals and your teammate is hiding behind some crates and they tell you, hey man, can I have a medkit charge? And nobody wants to run to each other because you would cross the line of fire from the enemy. Now you can give them HP with a little bit of dark side trickery. So with dealing only 15 charcoal damage, you can do it 3 times in a row without losing a big bar. And this feels pretty strong, but I think playing as Sparks during the event, which deals 149 damage, might be quite fun. Because the moment you heal your teammate, you will always have charcoal damage, and it means that our Sparks will kill you with a body shot, as long as you stay in the effective range. And we also tried that with the water bottle, we're gonna talk about that in a second as well. And you're not removing the Droused effect from your target, so this counts as a positive effect. So this will be very fun to play around with, but might make the life for solos a little bit harder, or more fun because Sparks, but we will see. Then we have the Trickshitter troop that will give you Crackshot for 1 pledge mark. And this one reduces sway for weapons, increase zoom level in iron sights for rifles and pistols with stocks, excludes shotguns and sawn-off variants. So this does not work with fanning, this does not work with dual wielding, so that is pretty nice. And it doesn't work with levering either because you need to use the iron sights. The zoom level is pretty crazy though, so here is the regular drilling iron sights. And here is with Crackshot. So yeah, have fun with that, that feels pretty strong. Speaking about strong, we have the Strongman troop, and that is the Bruiser event perk for 1 pledge mark. That one reduces melee stamina consumption and greatly reduces flinching when taking damage. And by flinching they mean aim punch. So when you get hit, your aim flinches upwards for a couple frames, and more often than not that means you will miss your target, because you pull exactly the trigger when you get aim punched. For 1 pledge mark, I might actually buy that one. Not because of the stamina, because stamina normally during the events with the 4-shot boons is everywhere, but greatly reducing the aim punch, I take that. And the last one is the Ringmaster troop, the Corpse Seer for 2 pledge marks. We know that one already, received dark side boost when looting downed hunters. It's nice because you get some dark side, it's not so nice because you reveal your position on the map, and people can then find the bodies. So don't forget to burn hunters that you looted while having Corpse Seer. You know what? Always burn. The end. Scorched earth, my friends. Cool, and now I talked about the Droused effect, so yep, next up we're gonna talk about the water bottle. Alright, in this chapter we're gonna talk about 2 things. The first thing will be the Droused state and the water bottle. So whenever you're entering now deep water, or when you get hit by a water bottle, your hunter will get the Droused state. And you have that state for 15 seconds. While you are in the Droused state, you do not burn or catch fire as easily, which is pretty nice against incendiary ammo, for example. You will also recover charcoal damage a little bit faster, and you will have a new footstep effect, and you are louder and easier to track. So you're basically getting squeaky boots. And now the water bottle. This is a new item that can be found randomly. You can either find it in one of these trays, or you can find it as a single item. You can throw it, and that will create a large splash of water on impact. If you hit a hunter directly with it, you also deal a little bit of damage. So here we go with Sparks water bottle meme combo. When you hit a hunter, or you toss the bottle close enough to a hunter, they will suffer from the Droused effect. You can hear it, as mentioned already, with the squeaky boots, but you can also see a visual effect. You have like these water droplets falling off a hunter. So when you see this effect in-game, it's not actually a sweat lord with a Mosin Dolch. Nope, it's just the Droused effect from a water bottle, or from deep water. The water bottle can put out most fires and burning hunters. However, water and oil doesn't mix well. Oil fires are excluded from this. Throwing water bottles on oil fires will instead create a large burst of flames, which is also a little buff to the firebomb. So fire off a flare gun on a downed hunter, you can put it out with a water bottle, but the moment they're suffering from a firebomb, you can't. You can also shoot it on the ground to make it explode. And on top of that, you cannot store this item. So the moment you pick it up, you either have to toss it or drop it, and whenever you drop it, it will break. The water bottle is also a godsend against immolators. When you hit an immolator directly with a water bottle, well, they will not have a good time. If you don't hit them directly, but the immolator has the Droused state, they can't ignite, they are slower and weaker, and that means they receive more damage. So I think altogether the water bottle can be nice against the flare gun spammers. I'm one of them, to be completely honest with you guys. And I like it because it's a passive buff to firebombs. So maybe in the future people will actually bring again firebombs. Just beware, it seems that the Droused effect only applies to AI and hunters, but not to red or yellow barrels. Okay, so in this chapter, I want to share with you guys a few general gameplay changes. First of all, the recovery shots and the relentless trait now restore health chunks with 24 points of charcoaling. So you can recover a bar, but you still need to be careful after using the recovery shot, for example, to not get body tapped by a high damage weapon. Additionally, and you saw it already in the recording, they added a lot of hints that display when interacting with all traits and event exclusive weapons, describing their use and effects. This is nice because Hunt Showdown, with almost 8 years, accumulated quite a few things that are probably not self-explaining for newcomers. Additionally, burn traits can no longer be stacked, meaning hunters can only have one instance of Relentless, Remedy and Rampage instead of 3. And I think this is a lovely change, the Beetle Cocoon spawns now provide a random beetle type. And when it comes to AI, the Hive speed has been slowed when it's in water and the Assassin's health has been reduced to align its time to kill with other boss targets. Honestly, I don't think changing the health does that much, because it's just, most of the time his behavior that bends you over, and not the amount of health points that he has. But okay. When it comes to gunplay, they increased the Centennial Wildland spread from 17.5 to 22.5, which I think is a very nice nerf because levering and the devil card was a little bit obnoxious. And they added a small random chance that a locked weapon box containing the Wildland or the homestead can spawn in the watchtowers. You need 3 pledge marks to unlock that box. Another thing that they did is they slightly increased the volume of the Maynard silencer without subsonic ammo at long distances, which is another very good change. So next I want to talk about the map in-game changes. Yep, you heard it right. The UI team actually made this. And honestly, I love this. And you know me, I didn't praise the UI team lately that much. But this looks really dope. First of all, you have the background, so you're not completely blind while you have the map open. The objectives in the top left, they also update depending on what you're doing. You can see your weekly challenges, you can toggle to your story challenges, you can see the traits that you have, you can see which traits are new that you picked up. There's a proper legend up there. This is really sweet. You can zoom in, you can also center to the player again, and in top left you see all the coins and the BBs that you found. So this is definitely a huge upgrade to what we had before. So good job with that, my dear UI team. Okay, next up, let's talk about our career and our weekly and story challenges. Now you're probably, what are story challenges? Let's check them out. So you have your weekly challenges. I mean, this is empty right now here on the recording server. But the story challenges, I can already see one of them. There's gonna be a new chapter here. An acquired taste, Tennessee Morgan stops a robbery, but unearths a darker sin, chapter 1. So when I double click this, first of all, yes, we're getting again some lore, something to read. Amazing. So this is the introduction then for this story challenge. It also shows you the rewards. I already did a couple, so you can see that we get here one of the old skins, the Rookie, which also means we can level this up then for a survivor skin. And all the way at the end, as you can see right here, we have then a veteran skin, and he looks just like a Hunt Showdown hunter should look like. And down here you can see the chapter, so I did already most of chapter 1. You unlocked then again some lore. You can see the challenges over here on the right. And then you have the other chapters where you need to do more. So for him, it's a huge focus on the Ranger 73 and the packs, for example. And this explains what a story challenge is. And as you can see, there's a little bit more space. So there will be more story challenges in the future. I love this. It gives you something to do, it gives you something to progress, and we get again a tiny bit of lore, which I hope they will not remove out of the game again. From a gameplay loop perspective, maybe not that important, but I want to quickly show you the compass and ping marker reworks. So you can have now multiple ping markers, one main marker that can be placed anywhere, and one auxiliary marker that remains on pinged objects and displays that object's icon. And the cool thing is, you are now able to remove the placed ping markers when performing the ping action by aiming at one of their own markers. So no more this weird double click, just do a marker somewhere else so the main marker is disappearing. And what I really love is that they added a lot of context sensitive ping markers. So depending on what you ping, it will show a different icon. So I'm not gonna go through the whole list, but there's health packs, toolboxes, bear traps, tarot cards, ducks, horses, cows, bats, chicken cage, stock cage, you get the idea. So try it out and see how many context sensitive ping markers you can find. Believe me, there are a lot. Depending on what you ping, the markers remain for a specific time. So the placed ping markers have 15 seconds by default. There are a few exceptions to this duration. The danger ping markers remain for 2 seconds, and ping markers placed on traps remain for 24 seconds. I guarantee you, your teammates will still run into an alert trip mine right next to a red barrel. I also mentioned the compass rework, so the ping markers now show up on the compass. And when you aim into their direction, they become a little bit translucent, so they are not blocking your view. So I personally think this is a cool addition, especially for people who like to play with randoms and don't want to use VoIP a lot. And then, last but not least, player profile customization. So Crytek introduced now a new way to customize your profile and to display your achievements, and they call this profile cards. They can display an avatar, which is typically showing a hunter or a monster. You can display up to 3 badges, showcasing mastery or specific items or in-game progression. Then you can have up to 3 stat trackers, so you can display various stats from kills with your favorite items and hunter, or bounty earned, and much more. Stats display primarily bounty hunt and bounty clash statistics. I don't know if there will be any for Soul Survivor. You can also pick a title that displays mastery of specific items, nicknames or achievements, and there will also be a cosmetic frame. You saw already a few things from that in the showcase of the Battle Pass rewards. So while most rewards for your player profile cards are earned through progression and by simply playing, some of them are tied to events and or story challenges, and some of them can also be purchased. Now keep in mind though that most of the stat tracking for your player cards will start from scratch and they are not retroactively unlocked. There are a few exceptions for stats that track before 2.6, but yeah, for most of them you start at 0. Now these cards appear anywhere you'd previously be able to see players' profile and stats, the death screen for example, or the last mission screen, or by clicking on your teammates in the lobby. On top of that, your team cards will be shown during the match found sequence in the lobby. I'm not the biggest fan about that, honestly. It's kind of shoving that thing in your face non-stop. So are these profile cards really necessary? I'm not sure, but does it hurt us? Probably not. I personally try to give these profile cards a fair chance. Okay, personal opinion chapter at the end. So I think that there will be a lot of people kind of like, that's it. This event is kind of an upgrade to the previous Circus event. So yes, it's not the biggest one, and I think it's a little bit similar to when we had the Murder Circus and then Garden of the Witch. Murder Circus was a huge event, and then Garden of the Witch was basically, not much. And now we had the Bile-Weavers, we had tarot cards, and now we have Murder Circus 2.0. So I like the changes to the Shredder, for example. I'm happy that the tarot cards are still in the game. The additions of skins is great. When it comes to actual content though, sure, water bottle is nice and some of these effects is nice, but it's not that it will have the craziest impact on the gameplay loop. But maybe I'm wrong. Some of the things that I actually like the most are some of the UI changes mid-game. Like the new map and everything, and the pings, that's cool. I'm surprised that it took that long to put it in the game, but honestly, with the amount of ranting that I do about the UI team, good job. Seriously, good job. I didn't test much the actual user interface in the lobby, so I don't know if all the bugs that I always complain about are gone. I hope they are. Otherwise, yeah, I will send Krampus to your home. And then I think we also need to address a little bit the customization of your profile. This is something that a lot of people kind of wanted. Like stat tracking is nice. I think this is cool. With the borders and avatars and stuff like that, this is going a little bit in a direction that is kind of... The game is almost 8 years old. You're too late for that. This sounds very harsh, but... yeah. I don't know. I will use it and display some memes on there. Especially since some of the stuff starts tracking now or just recently. And of course, not from day one. So this will not reflect how many kills I have with the crossbow and stuff like that. But you have the different tiers to unlock. It gives you something to grind. So for a progression system, this is cool. I think a lot of people will have a hard time accepting this though. But let me know in the comment section what you think about this update. Especially with this right here, with the, well, profile customization. It doesn't hurt anybody. But does it add that much value either? I think from a progression point of view, it's cool. Yeah, okay, maybe I like it. Maybe I like it, but I can already see a few comments being like, oh my god, Call of Duty, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and from the style here, it's, yeah, something I probably need to get used to. So, conclusion. I think this is a good event. I'm happy that we have the tarot cards, but that's, you know, already old stuff. Really new stuff. No new guns, no new gun variants, no new tools or consumables, and no, the water bottle... The water bottle doesn't count because you have to find it in the map. Yeah, let's see. I need to play it, and keep in mind that we're gonna have a crap ton of testing time with Twitch drops, so maybe I do a follow-up video in a week or two when I resurrect it from the Twitch drops hours and make a, hey, yeah, this event is good, or this event, please don't bring it back again. One more thing though, because I know people will be like, oh my god, they're reusing everything and this is so bad. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. There goes so much time into creating this stuff. They should reuse it. They should, absolutely. That they never brought back the snake baskets. And yeah, sure, they teased now that they will bring back the fire maps, but when exactly? It's gonna be a while. Next thing is, I wanted to see the Murder Circus again. But Mortis, okay, yeah, the Murder Circus is back for a weekend, or maybe for a week. So the circus is back in town. That works for a whole event. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. I'm gonna play the stuff, see if we can get some content with that, and I hope you guys will have fun with the event and also with the drops. Don't forget to check that out, twitch.tv/psychoghost. I will actually not stream the first day of the event because I need to recharge a little bit before we do the Twitch drops. There was a lot of work right now with the event video, the drops video, and then we streamed already, you know, some hunt, arc raiders, and the death stream. So yeah, it's not getting boring at all. With that, let's roll the outro. Yeah, let's see how successful this event will actually be. But I know already who's helping me being successful. These people right here. My patrons, thank you very much for supporting me over on Patreon. You guys are splendid. I know that I'm a little bit behind with the Patreon rewards. I need to work on that once the Twitch drops are over. It's just too much for me right now to do everything, sadly. And then my Linktree, my socials. I will post some pictures of my Sharps rifle that I have now, or I should. I'm gonna pick that up tomorrow, hopefully. All right, and then more videos. What a surprise, am I right? I see you in the next one. Until then, have a good day, and bye-bye.